Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. I hope I've got everybody's attention. I think I have, haven't I? Thank you to everybody that's liking and subscribing. And mainly, thank you to people to watching the videos longer. All right. So I'm tending to hold the crowd a bit better than I used to do. So thank you very much. Probably because you don't know what truth bombs I'm going to let out next. But let me tell you this. I've got a list here of people, right? There's 9 people left on this list. And I'm going to get round to you all in the next couple of months at some stage. So beware. Right. Today I'm joined by Kent, the Hardcore's Hardcore from Belfast in Northern Ireland, isn't it?
Yep, that's it, Russell.
Got it right. How are you doing? How are you doing, Kent?
I'm okay, Russell. It's been an eventful week, so it has.
I think you got something wrong, didn't you, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, about Eamon. Well, he actually turned pro with Barney Eastwood, so I got something wrong.
Not. Thank you very much, Mr. Eastwood. Him. Bookmaker.
Yes.
Bookmaker,
Yes.
wasn't he?
Yes.
So back to the original question then. So Matchroom have only had one fighter from debut who went on to win a world title that wasn't from the EIS, and that were Herbie Hyde, yeah?
Yep.
And he were Nigerian. So are we saying that Matchroom don't bring kids through from debut unless they're getting them on a conveyor belt or pinching them from other promoters? Do we agree on that?
Absolutely.
I've been banging on about that for years. Right. So we're going to have to call you the casuals casual now then, Kent, eh?
I'm not coming back on again.
Right. I believe you've got a little shopping list you want to work your way through today, or shopping list. Where did I get that from? That's my shopping list for the supermarket. Go on, sorry. Go on.
Where are we going to start, Russell? Where do we start?
We'll start with Dennis's show in Sheffield at the Ponsford, because who didn't come on Monday, did you? So we'll start with that. Dave Allen, the Dave Allen return of the White Wino.
What can I say, Russell? He fought a guy that used to box at 147.
He weighed double that, didn't he?
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. You know, I clicked on the link last week. It was from 5 Live. I actually sent it to you and Richard. And it says, Dave Allen, explosive comeback. And I'm thinking, the clickbait that these websites and these channels put up is just absolutely nonsense. You know, that guy was 7-13-3 and had fought at 147. On the night, he was 261. 261.
Yeah.
That is absolutely disgraceful. You know, Dave Allen can probably fight that type of opposition now and end up with a record like Julio Cesar Chavez, because those type of guys are worthless. There's no winning. There's no nothing in fighting guys like that. There.
Do you think?
Pointless.
Do you think, Kent, that how Dave Allen's career started, tough kid and that bit of talent and that turned pro as a teenager? Do you think that career is how not to be managed?
Absolutely. You know, he was managed well. To be fair, Dennis managed him well at the start.
Yeah.
You know, he got him in their position. He got him into, you know, he kept him safe. He built him up. He got a fan base. He sold a bit of tickets at the time because he was
No, let me just stop you there. He didn't sell tickets with Dennis. He didn't sell tickets.
Did he not?
Never did more than 7 tickets in any fight, and he had 7 fights with Dennis. 6-0 and a draw, but never did tickets. Never did. Yeah, we're on a weekly wage, and then you get paid to fight. You know, whatever he were getting off Dennis. I'm not going to say on here because it might embarrass Dennis. But no, he didn't do tickets. He didn't do tickets when he was with Peter Fury. He didn't do tickets until I think I had a word with him. I said, you know what you need to do? You need to get on that Twitter, get on social media. Obviously, he took it literally, didn't he? I remember collaring him on Moathouse Way, talking to him, and I said, you need to get on that social media. Very quiet kid. Very quiet then. If you ask Michelle, Dennis's secretary, she'll say, you couldn't get a peek out of him up there. He was just a quiet, very, very quiet lad, but you could see him absorbing it all like a sponge. But obviously, once you start off in boxing, they're all quiet, then they become cunning like foxes, don't they? But I think his problem I think if he got to gym, he was all right. He'd put a shift in. I think he'd getting out of bed. And obviously, got a lot. No, that's problem. No, honestly, getting out of bed. If he's at gym, he's all right. He's getting up. But if you're on your social media till 4 a.m., you're not going to get up at 6 a.m., are you, with Carl Frotch and do 6 mile, are you?
No.
You're not going to do it, are you? You Clinton Woodsers who get up in the morning and they have that champion's mentality, don't they? David ain't got that. And obviously, he not won a fucking belt, has he? So he ain't got it, has he? But talented, yes. Likeable, yeah. But you've got to have it's all got to be a mixture, hasn't it, of everything, hasn't it? If Floyd Mayweather can get up and do his runs, we $500 million in bank. He's got a champion's mentality, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But David obviously has picked the wrong fights at the wrong time. There's no shortcut to success. You can get carried away with yourself on social media. You get carried away with yourself on Twitter. And then before you know where you are, you're pestering Eddie. And Eddie, put me in for Louis Ortiz fight, Dillian Whyte fight. I heard Eddie's first response, are you nuts? Dave Allen's mad. Dave Allen's mad. Well, we all saw what happened, didn't we, at Ortiz fight, didn't we? His tongue were going like that. And I don't know. And that social media can play with your head, you know. And you can have your ego inflated. Before you know where you are, you think you could take somebody like Louis Ortiz on, who technically, when he fought him, what a world champion, wasn't he, really? But not in only... He was interim champion, wasn't he? But if Eddie had looked after him, he'd have got him upgraded, wasn't he? Because he did Scott quick, didn't he? So how can you go from being that level to Louis Ortiz level? You can't, can you? So that's how not to manage your career. Do you agree?
Absolutely. You know, when he was with Dennis, he was building up. He was getting the right fights at the right time. And then Matchroom came calling, and you know we had those. To be fair, was he even really? I remember at the time he was calling out David Price. David Price was getting called out first. Then the vacant British title come up, and he started calling out Dillian Whyte. He got that fight and got beat. Convincingly got beat. So he couldn't win a British title fight at British level against, at the time, a British level fighter. Then Eddie Hearn goes and signs Luis Ortiz as a blocker so he could keep him away from Joshua. And he throws Dave Allen in the ring with him, and he got punched around the ring. And it was a hard fight to watch. I actually turned it off because I couldn't watch it anymore. It was just one of the worst sighted beatings I've seen in the British ring. And to be fair with Dave, he's a brave lad. Then he was a brave lad. You know, he was taking these fights. He thought he was getting good money for these fights, which wasn't good money. It was probably area level domestic, below domestic money. Taking them, Eddie was throwing them in, and the board were sanctioning it. You know, how on earth did Dave Allen, coming off a loss, coming off a British title loss, be allowed to fight a WBA interim champion?
Yeah.
Says it all. These fights at the minute he's taken, you know, fights like that at the time will probably not harm your career at that time, but you're talking 2 and 3 years down the line when you're in the gym sparring and you're in getting more fights. That's when them fights are going to have an effect. So at the minute, you know, he's come back. He's had that fight. He's going to probably fight 3 or 4 times with that type of opponent. They're probably going to throw him in with Cash Ali in the cash out fight. That's probably what's going to happen.
You reckon?
Well, what else are they going to do, Russell, on Fight Zone? There's nobody there for Cash.
No, I don't see. I don't see him putting him in with Cash because it's too much of a 50-50 fight at this stage of both of the careers. And Dennis is not going to want to lose them both. He's not going to want to have somebody friction or anybody as a loser. He'll want to keep them apart, I think. That's what I think anyway. But I don't know. I mean, unless the mindsets change, unless TV is saying, look, you're going to have to put him in with a fight. Unless Dave's gone with Dennis because he's smelt that IBF belt. I don't know.
To be honest, Russell, like, be honest with me, on Fight Zone, right? Apart from Dave Allen now going with Dennis on Fight Zone, who else is there on Fight Zone that you really, really, really want to watch? It's a brand name.
I'd want to watch Tomlinson again because I thought he got stuck in, even though he were inexperienced against that guy and inactive. I'd watch him again. I thought he went for it. He had a go. I know he would. He technically wasn't as good as the other kid, but the other kid had a far superior CV, didn't he, against him? But I think I'd watch him again. I'd like to see him again in a fight. All others, Tommy Frank. No, I'm not really up on Tommy Frank. I don't know if he'll fight again him. I'm not sure. I mean, how many times has he pulled out of fights now? They've pulled him out of the Kyle Youssef fight, haven't they, again?
Yeah, and his last 2 wins, he's had 2 losses, but his last 2 wins before that were hard fights that they could have went either way. So you look at that, and you've got Tommy Frank, you've got Anthony Tomlinson, you've got Cash Ali, and you've got Dave Allen. Dave Allen is the only brand name on that channel.
And he's not got a belt.
No. So I think it's going to get to a stage where Dennis is going to be backed in the corner on that Fight Zone, and I think he's signed.
He's going to have to roll dice.
Yeah, he has to. He can't see this game. Oh, I'm going to keep them apart. I don't want. He's going to have to match him at some point, because it's getting to the stage now on Fight Zone where the cards are that bad. People are going to turn off. So he's going to have to roll the dice, and if he thinks he doesn't, he's deluding himself.
Dennis might send Dave Allen abroad to America on an Aram show or Cash, just to get a few quid in. It's going to, or buy some content in from abroad for Fight Zone and have a couple of his fighters on the show. I don't know. There's options open to him, isn't there? But it all requires money, and who's going to pay for it?
No, I can't see that happening, Russell. That's too much.
Well, maybe maybe I might be getting out my pram there, but that's some scenarios that we used to sit in that office and talk about, and I'd think, so you just, I mean, unless they're just going to pay lip service to fans, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. But if anybody can manoeuvre them kids into positions for belts, it's Dennis. He can manoeuvre. He's a good talker.
Yeah, well, he's got that good relationship with the IBF. Look at the many fighters over his career has been in the IBF route. You had Clinton,
McDonald,
Woods, McDonald. You had, what do you call the Sturdy Hall, IBF down the IBF route. So, and there's Cash now with that Trinket belt, the IBF European title that they said was the European title, which it's not the European title. The EBU's the European title. But yeah, I think I know that Dennis knows that, and you know yourself, Russell, that Dave Allen could want to be a world beater one day and get up the next day and not be bothered. So his shelf life is really, really short. Like, it's probably a year. There's probably going to be another 2 of these comeback fights. Then he's going to throw him in.
I don't agree with that. I think Dave Allen will be punching for pay when he's 40. He'd have had about 5 comebacks in that time. And what we're going to get, like that film, 48 Hours, you get another 48 hours, then yet another 48. Well, we're going to get, oh, God, not another Dave Allen comeback.
I agree. I agree with you. But what I meant there was like not that he's going to retire this time and be out for good. I meant motivation wise. He seems to be very up and down. It seems to be. Suppose you would be like when your career at one stage was looking really, really bright. You were promised TV punditry. You were promised slots on all these shows and titles, and coming away with nothing. So your motivation would be up and down, I suppose. But I agree with you now, with all these exhibitions and this person coming out of retirement to fight that person, it's something that's going to be a trend that's going to continue, to be honest.
I think Dave Allen will probably end up an all singing, all dancing, I don't know, extra in a Bad Essex Boys film, or he'll end up a porn star or something. I don't know. There's limit. He can't stick at one thing, can he? Like YouTube, we had a YouTube channel. He's got, listen, do you know, if I were his manager, and I'm not, I'd make him do a camp with world champion. Abroad, I said, right, you're going abroad, you, for 3 months, and you're going to train every day, and you're going to eat properly, and you're going to train properly for one camp, and then you're going to see if you can do it. Because I think it's consistency with him. I think he just needs some consistency, but I think he's probably missed the boat now, because he's already talking like fucking. It sounds like Riddick Bowe already, doesn't it? Age 29.
It's sad to see, I think in boxing, what you need to have, you're right, is consistency. And that comes down with the people around you. You need a coach that you trust. You need to have that continuity with coaching and management. And Dave's been back and forth. So it's hard, but I hope he does it. I hope he does come away and get a belt of some sort and gets a bit of money out of it. Dave's not the worst lad in boxing. He's actually fought people, so he has.
But if you count the trainers he's gone back and forward, it's over 10 trainers, isn't it? So so is it whose fault? Is it Dave's fault, or is it the trainer's fault?
Well, ultimately, it's the fighter who sets his alarm in the morning, gets up out of bed. If they don't want to do it, well, it's the trainer can't do everything for them, so they can't. They can train them and mentor them when they're with them, but when they're away from them, they have to be. You have to be dedicated. You have to be focused. It's also, the trainer isn't getting in the ring with a fighter the same way as the trainer isn't getting you out of bed in the morning. So it's you have to do the work, and if you're not going to prepare to be dedicated, forget about it.
Yeah. Okay, then. Moving on then from Dennis's show, which I wished him all the best with. Bricktop. I'll let you go through with this one.
So we like we like domestic fights. There's no doubt about that's been the problem in boxing now for the last 3 or 4 years, that the British title has been devalued. Now it's being used a bit more. I find Bricktop shows now are just boring. Do you think so, Russell?
Well, when I looked at the box rec, I seen it and I said, oh, 3 British titles on here, Bricktop. But then once you scratch the surface and look at them.
But even the presentation, Russell, do you not find even that the whole presentation of the shows are dated? They're boring,
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, I do. And what he says, when you turn around and say out about him, he just says it's about the fights. Yeah, it is. What he's having a dig at is we're about the fights. We're not about pyrotechnics and all this fancy stuff. Whereas Eddie Hearn, he's more or less putting shite on, but dressing it up, polishing turds. There's got to be a balance, hasn't there? And I think we've got they're both like chalk and cheese, aren't they, Frank and Eddie? How they put the stuff out.
So you go back to the 90s when Frank was at his best. He was promoting all them Calzaghe fights. He was putting on fights with fighters like, I remember the two Steve Collins fights.
Robin Reed.
Yeah, Robin Reed was fighting at that time for him.
Calzaghe.
Calzaghe, and even Frank Bruno. He was putting on pyrotechnics. He was putting on good shows. That they were entertaining. And you and Rico talked about something. What was it, Wednesday? And you said that, you know, that the audience now is switching off. There's a younger audience now that isn't tuning in the boxing. And say you had a younger kid tuning on to watch those shows, they'd be bored to death. The presentation, the production is shocking, and that's why people are tuning off. You know, I'm going to go through it. Anthony Kakache, a fellow countryman of mine, brilliant talent. He's had a stop-start career, probably with no fault of his own. He's had pullouts. He had problems with the McGuigans. He's a world-class fighter. You know, I remember Anto as an Irish senior champion, an Ulster elite champion coming through. I remember him winning a junior Antrim title, and he looked $1 million. Absolutely world-class. So I'm glad that Anthony's getting some fights and getting a bit of money from the sport. Yeah. He looked 2 levels above Woodstock. Like, I don't know how Woodstock blasted to the final bell. He took an absolute hiding. You had Anthony Yard fighting a guy who was one of the worst opponents. It was like a Nigel Benn opponent from the 90s. I don't understand what Frank's doing. You know, the reason Yard lost his unbeaten record in the first place, the reason Dubois lost his unbeaten record in the first place is crap like this. And I'm going to say, if you have a talent, you invest in them, you bring them over opposition that's going to lead them into the next fight. And, you know, that was absolute trash. You know, that opponent, what are they doing? Does Frank know now that Anthony Yard is lucky if he's European level? So he knows he can't match him with anybody. That was absolutely shocking. I hope that guy wasn't paid, because how on earth can someone be stopped in the first round with a body shot? I couldn't believe it. No, actually, I could believe it. It just goes to show you, Frank has learned absolutely nothing this last year with crap matchmaking like that.
Do you think that there's financial problems at BT Sport?
Well, they're up for sale. BT are up for sale now, and he's lost a bomb with Fury, an absolute bomb. You know, this whole, I'm not even going to go in it because I'm sick of talking about it, but there's been no pay-per-views on BT apart from Tommy Fury. That says it all.
Do you remember, right, when Fury signed with Frank, and I said on my channel, these two are 2 big personalities and it's going to end up in court? Do you think it's getting closer to that now?
Well, I don't know what we'll think about it, Russell. So this week, Frank's lost Josh Taylor now, the Sky. He doesn't have Josh Taylor anymore.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury's parked up. He can't do nothing.
Yard
is fighting.
Who's he fighting?
Who's he fighting exactly? He's fighting
Lyndon Arthur. Lyndon Arthur. Is he going to happen?
I think that's the only thing that Frank has got. You know, we listened. I sent you a video of Francis Warren the other night, and he was struggling to even say the fighters' names.
He was struggling. He was struggling to even talk. He was like chewing his face off.
Absolutely.
He was doing what I used to do.
Brutal. He couldn't even hardly get a sentence together. And the only thing I actually broke down in what he said is that we're going to build it up. Build it up?
Build what up?
Build it up with crap like that.
Build what up?
Absolutely.
Yard Arthur.
Yeah. Yeah.
Build it up. It don't need building up. It was a split decision first time. So why does it need building up?
Well, he said that they were going to build it up. So you're going to see Yard is going to get another 2 more fights like that there. Then they're going to throw them in Christmas on the big Christmas show that they normally have. And that's going to be them. I can't see anything good coming out of BT. BT at the minute is on their knees boxing wise. Tyson can't fight. They've lost Josh Taylor. The Bob Arum deal has ended in an absolute disaster. That, in my opinion, is going to end up in court. It's just, they've got they've got Sonny Edwards there, who nobody wants to watch. I don't want to watch him against crap opposition as well. Probably the weakest division in boxing. They've got Daniel Dubois fighting one of Tony Soprano's henchmen last week in that 1-round blowout. They are in big trouble, Russell. Big trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. To be fair to Sonny Edwards, though, he's beat everybody that he's fought, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I don't want to watch him. I don't want to watch that weight division. That's not going to make me tune in on a Saturday night. The cards are absolutely shocking. They always talk about Frank puts on, picking fights and trade fights. Where are they? Where are these trade fights? That's not enough now. BT at the start, I thought their presentation, their production was as probably good, if not better, in Sky at the time. Now it's shocking. You've got the likes of Richie Woodall trying to dress up the Yard opponent and the Yard fight. That is shocking. No, I don't want to hear that crap.
I heard him when he said capable. When they say he's capable or he's durable.
That's his job, Russell. He's meant to be durable.
Hang on a minute. His game.
Oh, brilliant.
What about Eddie's one-liner? He's really up for this.
Absolute shocking. Then we had the whole Ennis Brown and Sam Maxwell. That was goodness me. That was, I think at one stage, and during that fight, I was actually picking my toenails. I was that bored. It was terrible fight. You look at when you're fighting guys, you're fighting on that Trinket level and you're fighting like WBO European lower Trinket belt level, you're knocking everybody over. And, Maxwell, they say, is a really good puncher. He's 15-0. But, at domestic level, it's a lot harder than fighting at that Trinket level. And I think the Ennis Brown fight, I actually think that the judges actually got them mixed up. That's what it looked like.
All right, then. Moving on then from the adventures of Tintin. WBA Trinket belts. They're going to stop them, aren't they? But they said this 27 months ago, didn't they? I think Andy Patterson were putting some pressure on Mendoza, wasn't he, for a while on Twitter, and I think he come out a couple of times and replied, but they're not going to do that, are they?
No, Russell, because the way the WBA operate is they take 3% off a sanctioning fee. So 3% is a small percentage. You've got 4 belts that are on 3%. That's 12% coming in on revenue on sanctioning fees. So where are they going to get their money from? Where are they going to get their money from now?
Well, it's like British Boxing Board of Control. They had nearly 20 grand a week last year, didn't they, in expenses? Didn't pay any tax. What are they spending, that kind of money on for travel and expenses and that? What sort of lifestyles have they got? There's only a handful of them. What are they doing? It's free gratis.
Absolutely nothing.
Free gratis, mate. They've just got lifestyles where they're jetting about all week. And it ain't just Saturday when fights happen and Friday. Did they have a fight week? So strutting about, 70-odd-year-old. You know, the biggest swingers in town, mate. I'm telling you now, mate. Right, Robert Smith. I'll get round to you when I get some time. You're a fucking luxury at the moment, prick.
So the WBA, it's a shambles organization. They're getting a lot of heat in America at the minute, and they're getting called out. You know, you look at their rankings. You know, their heavyweight rankings. Mark Demore is in the heavyweight rankings.
Yeah.
You know, that's the guy who taught himself how to box on YouTube and fought David Hay.
Mark Demore, there were Mark Demore and Arnold Gerger, or some Cobra. The word. Tony Bell, you were calling him wham. He's a wham. He's a wham. Well, Mark Demore's world ranked.
Yes. David
Haim Demore too. two worlds collide.
This belt is for the WBA interim gold / silver interims belt. It is shocking. You know, we had last week, we had Pac-Man against you guys, and Pac-Man was the WBA. They wouldn't upgrade him or something like that there.
Yeah.
And Ugas is now the WBA champion, but he's not the super champion. So you look at Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis has got more WBA belts than David Hay has flipping Prada belts at home. So we'll have a champion now in Luis Santa Cruz, who's a WBA super champion that never actually fought for that belt. The Lee Wood saga now, you know, you go back. I remember there was some comments on the channel a couple of weeks back on a video about why did I not mention the Belfast show. So I'm going to mention it now. So we had Michael Conlan was fighting at super bantamweight for a fight before that. Then he stepped up and he fought TJ Dehaney at featherweight, and that belt was for an interim WBA belt. Now he's in the mix now to fight Lee Wood for the WBA belt, but was fighting at super bantamweight the fight before that.
All right.
So I think what's happening there is that Michael Conlan now is going to fight Lee Wood, but the problem is that Lee Wood is with DAZN and Michael Conlan is with BT. So what's is that another fighter Frank's going to lose?
Well, personally, I think Lee Wood flogs him. I think he's too big for him. You?
Yeah. I think the problem is when you have Michael. He was fighting at featherweight for a while. He's 30 now, and I don't know why they wanted them to go down and fight at super bantamweight now, but super bantamweight, all the belts are going in a unification. They're all going on the unification bout. So I think when you get older and you're you know, as you get older, you're struggling to make weight and stuff. Going down to super bantamweight wasn't doing him any favors. You know, it's harder on a fighter who's obviously in their 30s in the lower weights. So it's a better move at featherweight. But I think Wood is a massive featherweight, and I actually think Wood would beat Josh Warrington, and I think he would give Lara a really good fight.
Do you think that Barry McGuigan would beat Conlan if they both were in the same era and they both fought at featherweight?
Yeah, I think so, because McGuigan was a really strong featherweight, but McGuigan didn't, in my opinion, Russell, you know, McGuigan didn't fight Azuma Nelson. That was the fight that people wanted to see. That's the fight I would have wanted to see, and I actually don't think McGuigan would have beat Azuma and Nelson
at that time.
At that time, no.
What
Definitely
about
not.
what about the McGuigan that night at QPR when he beat Pedrosa? Would he have beat Elson?
No, because my opinion is that Pedrosa had 17 defenses.
Thought it was 20. Thought it was
20. Yeah, sorry, 20. He was right at the edge of his end of his career, so you know it was really, really good timing from Barney Eastwood and good timing for McGuigan. But to be honest, you know, I don't think McGuigan would have beat Azuma Nelson Russell, to be honest. And you know, you look back down in the McGuigan's career, you know, he lost quite early on in his career. You know, was it Peter Eubanks that beat Peter or Simon Eubanks? Chris Eubanks' brother was the first person to beat Barry McGuigan. So he lost quite early on domestically. So he come back from that and he won a world title, which is amazing. But I think Azuma Nelson was a level above McGuigan at that time.
Oh, Dillian Whyte, the can man. Anybody who wants it can get it. They're saying that Areola versus White's very, very close. He's another man over 40. Malcolm Tan, Lucas Brown, Povetkin twice, Marius Fack, Areola. I think there's another one as well if you look. What happens now when fighters get to 40 plus? Is that what Dillian Whyte wants to fight them? Where is he fucking going, this clown?
He's getting a fortune for it, Russell, and he's just taking the money.
And then what he does once he's signed to fight one of these old guys, he starts calling out Wilder and Fury and Joshua and all that, doesn't he? Is it fucking? Am I losing fucking plot here, or are we seeing fucking 48 hours, another 48 hours, yet another 48 hours? Is it the fucking same old script that they keep wheeling out? The recycled bollocks? Is this all they're going to do, Matchroom?
Yeah, because
fucking scumbags.
High on earth, Russell. You know, we'll look at what I'm going to do at the weekend. As soon as the second the Warrington fight's over, I'm unsubscribing. The second that fight is over, I'm not renewing the DAZN because the product's crap. The fights, what fights? There's hardly any schedule. I'm paying $7.99 a month for domestic fights. You know, he said last night, you know, where else would you get a fight as big as Liam Smith and Anthony Fowler?
Do you think that's a good fight, that?
It's a good fight, Russell. It is a brilliant fight. It's a good domestic fight, but it's not something I'm gonna subscribe £96 a year for. No, definitely not. Yeah. It's a Saturday fight night. It's not a pay-per-view event. Definitely not. Absolutely, definitely not. But going back to Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte has made himself a millionaire out of boxing, and he's getting these pay-per-views. He's getting these really, really easy pay-per-view fights, and he's winning, and he's getting them again. He's getting them again. He's getting them again. High on earth is DAZN going to afford his wages for this next event?
I don't know, mate. And do you know what? Riak Porte's left him, hasn't he?
Richard Riakporte, yeah, he's went to Sky.
I don't know what's going to happen there. But Dillian Whyte is not the can man, he's the tomato can man. He only fights tomato cans. I mean, what sort of man is putting himself in mix to fight all these top guys, Joshua, Fury and Ortiz and Wilder and them. And then Andy Ruiz beats Chris Areola. Then he calls out Areola, who was 41. What's all that about?
I think it's because Andy Ruiz looked so bad in that fight. You know, he looked like his punch resistance had totally left him. Areola, I don't think Areola could believe his luck in that fight. Andy Ruiz went through knee surgery at the minute, so he's out. He's out until New Year.
What's that, to get all blubber off his knee?
So he's out until next year. So the other easy opposition would have been Chris Ariola. Chris Ariola seems to have a ranking all the time with the WBC, no matter what. Chris Ariola can come back in 10 years' time and still have a top 15 rating with the WBC. Jose Suleiman, he's Mexican and stuff, so they always favor him. So I don't know what they're going to do, if it's going to end up one of these stupid final silver gold eliminators. But again, it's just they're getting the fans in. They've been doing this for years. They've been bringing in all these pay-per-view opponents. Like Oscar Rivas wasn't even a heavyweight at the time, and they sold that in pay-per-view, which was a shocking card.
Cruiserweight one, Ian.
Yeah, cruiserweight. Now he's in the Bridgerweight rankings.
See, but that's another thing, Dillian Whyte. Big 18, 19 stoner fighting a small guy, a 15 stoner. But really he's a cruiser or whatever, Bridger. There's always an angle, or they're all fucking 40-odd year old. Or they've got... Fucking here, man. I'm up to here.
He's very smart, isn't he, Russell? He navigates his career in the right way. He always gets these fights that there's 60-40 fights. He's always fighting somebody over 40, somebody with COVID. Somebody
with COVID.
Yeah. Somebody coming back from a loss that was a former champion. He's navigated his career very, very smartly, and he's still doing it. And see, the problem is, Russell, he's getting away with it. He's getting away with it again.
Hello.
It's absolutely shocking. Chris Ariola, how long ago was it Chris Ariola fought for a world title? Never mind now, coming off a loss against Andy Ruiz isn't something that you can sell. I was going to say pay-per-view, but it's not a prescription. So it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. And we're going to get more of this until the Tyson Fury thing is resolved, which I don't think it will. We're not going to know.
It's going to be interesting to see. Exciting times ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Russell.
Speaking of exciting times ahead, this is why we love this sport so much, Johnny. What do you think about Eddie Hills coming out saying he's irreplaceable at Sky?
Well, it's sour grapes because Sky was there before Eddie Hills. They were there way before him. So what's his problem? He left.
They were there 20 years before him.
Yeah. What's his problem? What's he whinging about?
It's going to be interesting to see, because have you noticed in last week or so, you've had people in industry retweeting and liking and commenting on Sky tweets where they've not said anything. Now they've gone to DAZN. Your Dave Caldwell's, your Kugan Cassius, your Umar Umar. People like that, your Rob Tebbett's, all of a sudden, all their alliances are now with Sky, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yep, they're just trying to get themselves back into into getting some more content and in the loop again, and it's going to be strange to see. Like, you think about what Sky have got now, right? And you go back to when Eddie Hearn took over with Matchroom. So he basically had Otley Harrison, Eric Dockton.
Yeah, go on, I'll just take my jacket off.
Paul McCluskey. That's all he had at the time. That's all he had for the build Matchroom. And he had a young Clark Frampton coming up as well. So you look what Sky have got now. Sky are actually in a better position now, starting off again, than when they were when Eddie took over.
Well, I mean, I tend to agree with Johnny Nelson, what he said about Eddie going from Sky to DAZN's, like Frank Warren going from Sky to Box Nation, right? And I tend to think that that's very, very similar. I know DAZN's got a little bit more to it than Box Nation, but it's still a boxing subscription channel. And obviously, they do other sports in America, don't they? But they haven't got the Premier League. They haven't got anything else, I don't think, in UK, have they? They've just got boxing. Am I right?
Yeah, boxing and a back catalogue that everybody has seen before.
Well, I've got a back catalogue on here. I don't mean no, does it?
No.
No. But I see. Where I'm looking at it now is this. I think a lot of people have looked at it and thought, the grass ain't always greener, and better the devil you know. Do you know? Does that sound right? Does that sound right, Ken?
Absolutely, because I think with Sky, what happened with Sky, Eddie got bigger than Sky in there, and I got this stage where when they had the 4 promoters at the time, they had the promoters at the time. It was harder to sign content off with Barney Francis. So, title fights, Sky didn't want certain fights. They weren't signing certain fights off because they weren't good enough. Then Eddie came in, got that whole deal, got everybody kicked out, and remolded it the way he wanted. And it seemed to be that everything was being signed off. And I mean, everything. So that was the real problem. Now, now Sky have actually got, it looks to me, Russell, that Sky have actually got control again of their own product.
Yeah, it's looking that way, isn't it?
And how Matchroom started, let's be honest, what got Matchroom started was because they had no fighters. They went down prize fighter route, and that got the casual fans in. That they were doing like 3 to 4 prize fighters a year. That's one every quarter. And that's what got the casual fans in. And that's what they've brought Boxer in for. They're going to do the same as Eddie did. Bring in Boxer, bring in these tournaments, get the casual fans in, get the Betfred gambling, viewership in on them cards, those tournament cards, and then have fights in between those. So I think they're at a better stage. To be honest, Russell, I was delighted to see Savannah and Huey go over to Sky.
Yeah, obviously, Huey and Peter have been told that they're going to. I might as well put it out there because it'll be in all interviews. Huey and Peter that have been told they're going to big Huey up, and he's going to get the full-on treatment from Sky, and they're going to turn him into a pay-per-view star. That's what I've been told. So
and Savannah as well was a big hit for them.
Well, the Clarissa Shields fight signed. They're both signed for it. It's just a case of working the date out, and they're going to try for December. But she's got to win in October. But I think it'll be about March, and that they want to build it up. But she's got that fight, and I think she'll get out of the sport then, Savannah. She's financially set up. So I'm really pleased for him. But Eddie couldn't get that fight over the line. I saw his interview where he was saying, I more or less did that deal. No, you didn't, Eddie. They didn't want to work with Salita. Didn't want to work with him. The guy who fought Khan.
Yeah, that's right.
They didn't want to work with Eddie. There's a little bit of bad blood there. He's rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way, you see. And Sky now realise that now because Eddie's on the outside looking in. Canelo's gone. Do you think Heyman's going to let? Do you think Al Heyman's going to let him come back now to
No
Eddie
chance.
Canelo? He's gone. Joshua, he hasn't signed with DAZN, has he? So he's unsure. If he's that loyal, he's been with Eddie since 2012. But Eddie were in his E-roll from first coming up here to EIS when it was 2010-ish, round about then. Eddie was chipping away at him. When Carl Froch signed with him, 2011-ish, when were Carl Froch's first fight with Eddie? Glenn Johnson, 2011 summer. So Eddie's been sniffing around Joshua for over 10 years. And if Joshua's that loyal, why is he not signed with DAZN? So he's obviously unsure, isn't he? He's either going to be a freelancer, work with Sky, work with DAZN, dip in, dip out, or he's going to put it on his own YouTube and charge people, which I won't put it past him because he's money motivated, isn't he? Or he's going to go with Eddie. But if Eddie's that confident, well, why ain't he fucking signed with you? So if he's gone, the whole stack of cards will come tumbling down because who's going to carry it? What we're going to have? Dillian Whyte against Chisora Free. We're going to have that, or we're going to have Beefy Smith, Eggington 2. I don't. What's he going to dig up? Who's he going to dig up? Is he going to bring Dave Allen back to fight Alan Babbage?
There's nobody there. They have nobody.
Do you know what I mean?
They have nobody.
Listen, do you know what he's done, Eddie Hearn, right? He stood on that penthouse balcony of his. He's pulled his cock out and he's took a piss on everybody in boxing. And once he's rinsed it, he'll be gone. And all them little merry men around him, they won't be going with him. They'll have to hang around boxing. And there's a lot of people who hang around Eddie Hearn who've rubbed up a lot of people the wrong way. And a lot of people are going to be rubbing their hands when these people come back to the table. Hula hooping. Oh, yeah. All Eddie's little gang. He'll not need them no more because he'll want to move around with people in the next industry that he goes into. He won't. These people will be dropped by the curbside. So it's all going to come home to rules. You know these people, right? You know what? I was talking to somebody about this yesterday who come down here, a boxing trainer. When you're on your way up, be nice to people because on your way down, they always remember, don't they? That'll be a lesson to you.
I remember Russell about a year ago, he actually mentioned that they were trying, that Matchroom were going to branch into Matchroom music.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I've heard little whispers about stuff like that. Yeah.
And he's already saying now that, like, I'm not going to be about, like, I'm going to get more involved in the darts. And I can't do this.
Darts. Fucking do me a fucking favour. Who gives a fuck about darts?
And he's like, Frank Smith is going to be the next Eddie Hearn. He's going to be doing all this. So he needs exposure. But he's upset so many people in America. He went into their territory and told them he was going to destroy their own product. They don't want to work with him. He can't deliver big fights. When was the last big fight, Russell, that Eddie Hearn delivered?
Canelo and Billy Joe 4 months ago. But he said 2 months ago yesterday, didn't he, in his thing? Well, I've just, what you on about? We haven't done note for ages. I've just done Canelo Billy 2 months ago. 4 months ago, Eddie. And we still haven't had an interview off Billy Joe Saunders. And why is Spencer Fearon and Peter McDonough not talking about Billy Joe quitting? Because they're MTK. So, you know,
Eddie's really a liability, to be honest. You know, the whole Tyson, Fury, and Joshua, don't want to talk about that again. And, you know, he's lost Colano now.
Lost
Colano now. You know,
Canelo.
I need to put a sign up for when I say that. So that deal now is based on. I have to get a sign. So that deal is on. He gets gate money. He gets viewership. So that's a massive deal he's got with Heyman. And I actually think Heyman would actually give him be over and beyond just to get him away from Hearn. That's exactly what he's done there. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he's done. You know, I think it's good to see Skybot back. Proof's going to be in the pudding. It's good to see them signing Caroline Dubois as well. They could build something up with her. They've got Savannah. They've got Huey. They've got Eubank Jr., who's going to be fighting tomato cans for the next 5 years. I think he's going to fight in December. They're talking about, is it Kell Brook in December? Am I wrong to say?
Against who?
Eubank Jr.
Kell Brook against Eubank Jr. You've got to be having a laugh, haven't you? It's the first I've heard of it.
Russell. so they're talking about
Kell Brook against Eubank Jr. It'd be a bloodbath.
I'm calling it.
It'd be a bloodbath. Kell, whoever's blowing smoke up your arse, get rid of him. If it's Flex, hit the road, Flex. Whatever money you've had, consider it severance pay. Take the train. Get out of Dodge.
So think about it, Russell. So Eubank Jr. now is number one to fight Murata. They aren't going to gamble.
Fucking hell.
They aren't going to gamble Eubank against Murata this early in this deal. There's no way that's going to happen.
Eubank's been inactive 2 years, hasn't he? More or less.
Yep. So Kella said the other day that we're going to have a big pay-per-view fight in December with Eubank. He says it's going to be a fun, colourful fight. So I honestly think it's going to be Kell Brook. Or wait for it, it could be Amir Khan.
You know what? I like Calla Sowland. You know why? Because secretly he can't stand Eddie Hearn, but he won't tell him to his face, but can't stand him, mate. Calla Sowland cannot stand Eduardo. Can't stand him. Team Calla!
It has to be, the think of the casuals. The casuals aren't going to go and buy Chris Eubank Jr. against Murata. They don't know anything about Murata. If they see Kell Brook or Amir Khan, they'll buy it. The casuals will buy that fight. So I can see that. I can see that happening as their first big pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Definitely can. It's he said it's going to be a fun, colourful fight. So I'm just putting two and two together.
Hey, listen to this. You know Big Max with Volvo out of a breadcrumb. He went to Euro Disney with his kid, right? And he forgot to go for PCR test or something to get back. So they held him 12 hours at airport with a 4-year-old kid, his daughter. How bad's that? So anyway, he's landed. He's gone home. Anyway, and then he's drove down from Scarborough. He's gone to Chris's last night, sparring up at King's Gym. So in Sheffield. So anyway, he's gone down there. Chris has put him in with Nicky Smedley. and Nicky's 13 stone, but he's obviously he's ex light welterweight. Really good fighter, like powerful. And he's set about Max.
I would not want to mess around with Nicky Smedley. Definitely not.
Anyway, definitely not. He's set about Max. Max will be sore this morning, but he said he learnt a lot from there, so that's good, isn't it? Chris is teaching him. I suppose he's doing no wrong. Is he driving 100 miles to train and then driving home? So I like he's dedicated. So Max, I know you'll be a bit sore this morning, mate, but it's tough at the top, isn't it?
He'll be sitting at the minute with a big bag of peas, frozen peas.
And Nicky had 18 ounces on, and Max is a big 19, 20 stoner, isn't he? So it ain't about size and that, but what Max has got, he's got freakishly long arms. So Chris is gonna. I don't like to say tweaks because I always think about Shane McGuigan when people start going on about tweaking. It freaks me out. But he's going to alter his style a little bit and get it. But
show him a couple of things.
He wants to do it, and he come down. So
fair play to him for getting him and Nicky. Nicky's a legit guy. Like Nicky is. The score with Nicky. He's legit. Like so, that's good. He's traveling 100 mile up, 100 mile back. Fair play to Max.
He loves his Volvo.
I love that. Love it.
Oh, Ken, somebody sent me an email. Kent's a single man. He doesn't chase women. What does he do in his spare time to relax? That's what this person's put. He was a woman, actually, called Lorraine. So I know, yeah. So I just
This is crazy.
yeah.
What do I do?
What do you do to relax? Because obviously you don't booze, do you?
No.
So you don't go out drinking. You don't go out chasing skirt. Obviously, you like boxing. What do you do to relax?
I like running. I go running quite a lot.
Yeah.
I do a couple of gym sessions. I do about 3 or 4 gym sessions a week. I go to the gym. I have a dog. I walk my dog quite a lot.
What dog you got?
Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
Yeah, good man. Good dog. Good choice. Good choice, Ken. Good choice, lad. Good choice.
He's named after a British boxer, heavyweight.
Who?
Bruno.
Bruno. Go on, Ken. I thought it'd be called that or Marciano or Tyson or something like that. Bruno.
So I take him out a day. He needs 6 miles a day walking at least. So he does that. They get any energy out of him. So it's 2 and 3 walks. So that's basically it for me. I'm a simple man. Just the simple things keep me happy. I like films as well. I like UK crime. I like gangster films. I like reading. So just that's it really.
Okay. Let's finish off on Lewis Ritson. 1 fight deal. Phil Jeffries tells me with Sky. Ritson's team. What do you think to that? Do you think Sky could have given him a 3 fight deal, or do you think they've just took this 1 fight deal to see how it goes? Kind of think, keep their options open.
They're going to see how it goes. They're not going to sign him on a free fight deal, and if he gets beat or looks bad in this first deal, they would probably have to pay him out of the deal. So money wise, it makes sense for them to say that they get him on a. He's had a strange career, Lewis. Really, he blew through at domestic level, British title outright, and one minute he was in a position to fight for a WBA title against Josh Taylor, and they basically threw him in with the Wolves against Ponce in his last fight. So it's tricky. It's going to be interesting to see what road that they're going to take with him. What do you think about it?
Well, he's only been beat once. If you look on his record, hasn't he? Or is it twice? Is it once?
He's been beat by the European guy.
Yeah. Beat by a split decision on it, yeah. And then he lost. He got been back twice, then, hasn't he? Yeah, been beat twice.
And he got beat by Ponce, and he looked really, really bad in that fight.
But didn't he get a decision in one that he looked bad in?
Yes, that was the fight.
Him will beat O'Hara Davis.
Yes.
So yes, Ritson's got 2 losses on his record then, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. I thought it was 1-2. Yeah, it's 2, isn't it? But it should technically be 3, shouldn't it?
I think what they should do is bring in, have a rematch in that fight, and see. It would sell really, really well on Sky. It would be a fight that I would actually tune in to see.
I think he's excited me, but I think he lost all his advantages once he stepped up.
He didn't seem to carry the power up, Russell, so he didn't.
No. He went through everybody like a hot knife through batter.
Batter. Bruv. Not right, bruv.
Bruv. I'm crushing it. Bruv. Heated seats. Bruv. And
hey, bruv.
Padded steering wheels. Bruv.
Somebody's getting ironed out, and it's not going to be me, bruv.
Bruv. Is Dillian Whyte ever going to show us his birth certificate? Yes or no?
Wesley Snipes.
Aye. Let me think now. There was something else I wanted to speak to you about. Let me go through it. Oh, wait. Felix Cash. What do you think about him? What do you rate him?
Yeah, I do. I think he can really punch. I think he's exciting. Yeah. He's, look at what he's done at domestic level. Look what he done in that last fight.
Yeah.
What's happened with him? You know, where is he at the minute? Is he in the wilderness?
Yeah, he probably is. Who's the best fighter from Sheffield to never win a world title other than Bomber Graham?
From Sheffield? Oh. Rhodes?
Yeah, I know you say that. I was going to say that. Yeah, I was looking earlier on today on BoxRec, and I thought to myself, you know, out of all these 154 guys that are around now, you know, your Beefy Smiths, your Eggingtons, Cheesemans, can you imagine what Ryan Rhodes would have done to them?
I remember Rhodes when he come on. I remember that big Frank Warren card, Brit Pack.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That was a marvelous show. Them shows then were just.
What about the Full Monty in '97? I went to that.
One of the best shows ever in Britain.
The Full Monty.
Amazing. You know, I was disappointed with what happened. You know, I think he should never have left Inglecamp. He went in with that fight against Jason Matthews, but I think it was the vacant.
WBO. He got upgraded to world champion Jason Matthews, didn't he?
So there was the Otis Grant was the first world title fight he lost.
Right, you know what that was? That were a light middle against the super middle Otis Grant, and Ryan only had 16 fights at the time.
Crazy matchmaking.
Too early, wasn't it? Too early.
Crazy matchmaking. Then
at the wrong weight.
Awful. Then there was the Jason Matthews fight. It was Russell. It was actually full WBO world title.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was a vacant interim, and they upgraded Matthews now.
But what was an interim then? They didn't No, it was a full WBO.
It was vacant though, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think Matthews lost it in his next fight.
First defense. Yeah.
Against Armin Crunch. I think it was.
Have you got it up on BoxRec now?
No, I'm just.
See if you can get it up on BoxRec, Ken. Perform your magic. I'm sure it was a WBO interim and they got upgraded. Maybe I might be wrong. I mean, you're the hardcore, aren't you?
I'm not as quick at all this as like so Rico and stuff. You see Rico he's flipping. He's fast.
Rico speaks about 8 languages, mate.
Rico is one of my favorite people. I think he's a great guy. I love listening. I love listening to his stuff. So I'm going down it now. Hold on. Let me see. The Otis Grant fight was a vacant WBO medal, right?
Yeah.
Then the Jason Maff. You're right. You're right. Sorry. I am done in this channel. It was a WBO interim world, but it didn't say vacant.
It got upgraded though after when Frank Warren had him upgraded, didn't he?
I'm gonna go into here to Jason Matthews.
Massive puncher, Jason Matthews. You know, massive.
Big puncher. Really good fighter. He lost his neck. I'm right. He lost his next fight against Armin Crunch, and you're right. He was upgraded. He was upgraded as a world champion. So that fight, Ryan lost, who was for vacant interim. You're right, but it actually was a world title in the next fight against Armin Crunch, which he was a good fighter. I liked him. He was a Scandinavian guy, so he was Swedish, and he lost. He lost to Sven Otka as well. He lost his world title to Harry Simon. So he did. Harry Simon. You know, remember the Namibian champion beat Winky Wright. Nobody domestic fighting everybody domestically. Who was it? He fought. Wayne Alexander jumped in at the last minute against him, and he beat Wayne Alexander in a really good fight. And he went to America. He actually beat. Well, am I right? He fought. Am I I see. Did he fight He didn't fight Fernando Vargas. No, it was Winky Wright. He beat Winky Wright. So he did in America. He was a brilliant fighter, Russell.
Yeah. Predictions for the weekend. Predictions. Yeah, predictions. Pain.
So my predictions for the weekend is, I think this is a crazy fight for Warrington to take, Russell. You know, if he wins this fight, he's still going to have a lot of damage. If he loses this fight, he's still going to have a lot of damage and is another loss. Where does he go? I'm predicting a late Lara stoppage.
Yeah, I am as well. I also predict that Conor Benn flies hard at traps and blasts Granados away inside 3 rounds, and we don't get to know anything new about Conor Benn.
Yeah, that's basically what's going to happen, isn't it? He's not fighting anybody that's gonna actually hit him back. So yeah, I think it's a big gamble for Josh. You know, if Josh wins this fight, he's still gonna come through a lot of wear. There's still gonna be a lot of wear and tear.
If he wins this fight, he's still not a world champion.
No, crazy, absolutely crazy.
Bad decisions behind the scenes. Careful matchmaking they've had all the way through and overachieving. But he's a nice kid and good luck to him. But in my opinion, Josh Warrington's overachieved, been very carefully matched. And there's only so many times you can roll the dice. But why on earth they took that fight and they couldn't find any footage of him on YouTube? Would you buy a car that you hadn't test drove? I wouldn't.
No, definitely
I
not.
wouldn't. So,
definitely not. I like Josh. He's a nice guy. I met him at a BT show in Belfast, and I tried to get a photo of him, but my phone died, and he was laughing. We're joking about it. He's a nice, really nice kid. I hope he wins, but I think it's going to be really, really hard for him. Really, really hard.
Yeah. Okie dokie then. Well, listen, Ken, we've had over an hour.
Russell, can I give a shout out to someone?
You give a shout out to whoever you want, lad.
I'm walking down the road the other day, and a horn goes, and look out, you're on Porky's Corner. So I want to give a big shout out to Big Rob, the taxi man. Don't have nightmares, Rob.
Big Rob, the taxi. I didn't know it were you. Were it your war hat?
I was actually wearing my camouflage one.
What T-shirt did you have on, Ken? Your wild card one or Kronk?
I think it was it was a football shirt. I actually think it was. I don't wear these. I just keep these for the channel.
Oh.
I wear my Gallagher's Gym T-shirt everywhere.
Do you? Ooh, Joe Gallagher. Joe G.
Team G.
Team G. Okay, then. Well, listen, Ken, it's been a pleasure. You've been a great addition to the Porky Express train. All right, mate. You take care. Have a great weekend. And all the best. All right, my friends. Peace out.
Take care. Take care.
Well, that were Kent from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Thank you for coming on. I think that's about it, really. I don't think I've got much on now. It's Friday, isn't it? With that Friday feeling. I think I'm gonna do a Bob Boulder workout in a minute. Beef the old Bob Boulders up. And remember him, Bob Boulder, Liverpool reserve goalie. I'm going to train my shoulders. And then I'm going to have a shake, a grenade shake. And then I think I'm going to upload this. I have to keep busy, don't I, me? Otherwise I go chasing drugs, get off my trolley. So I have to have a full schedule. Because it's Fridays, are usually dangerous days for me. I think so. I might go have a game of snooker. And then I've got Sam Stokes coming on at 6 o'clock. Might put that on members area. That's going to be explosive, that today. For all you members. I'll put Sam Stokes on members. We'll get one of them on board for a month. That's about it, really. that's about it. Now it's just a case of answering these emails from all these lovely boxing fans. Lovely. All right, I think we've got somebody to ring on here, have we? Was it Tony Penn? You want to come on channel, do you, Tony? I'm giving a message here to ring you. I'll give you a ring. And that's about it. I miss my dog today. All right, so have a great weekend. It's Friday, 9:15 in the morning. You got to get up to catch Kent, haven't you? So, all right, peace out. Keep on trucking, keep sporting boxing. Don't have nightmares. Don't forget to join our members area because you're all missing out, those who don't. Peace out.